Today in Nerd History!
Anime may seem just like bonkers go bananas zany land most of the time, but now and again, things from it are drawn from real life. And no, I'm not just talking about band names that are like weirdly shoehorned into JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, as awesome as that is and as much as I really do like it. No, I am talking about anime characters who are based on real life people. Here's 9 times that happened.
Number 1. The real samurai behind Rurouni Kenshin and Gintama.
So I know what you're thinking. If this is historical anime, wouldn't it be obvious that some of the characters in it might be drawn from real life? Yeah, okay, Tony. Well, let me tell you something, Buster. You're right. But the anime also has magic swords in it and stuff, so I'd at least expect you to entertain the idea that it could be fictional.
Rurouni Kenshin isn't based on actual events, but the main character is based on an actual samurai. Kenshin creator Nobuhiro Watsuki was inspired by the tales of Kawakami Gensai, an assassin from the 19th century who maintained a duty to his dead comrades. Kenshin and Gintama maybe don't share a lot in common beyond being former assassins with a loyal streak. And while Kenshin may have had a bit of a happy ending, Gensai was executed by his government after he was deemed no longer useful.
Gensai didn't inspire just one supernatural sci-fi samurai, however. Wow, that's a cool tongue twister, isn't it?
Gintama's Kawakami Bansai is based on Kawakami Gensai. Not that you'd guess, with their totally different sounding names and all. One of the real-life samurai's contemporaries also appeared in Gintama. The character Okada Nizao is based on the real-life assassin Okada Izo. Unlike his anime counterpart, though, Izo was not in fact a blind swordsman who wielded a giant purple sword that turned him into a tentacle monster.
But that fact just makes him less interesting, so I'm gonna refuse to believe it. Forgotten already. What were we talking about?
Number 2. One Punch Man's apartment actually exists.
So yeah, this technically isn't a character, but if a bunch of annoying movie reviewers are able to say, in a way, New York City's a character in the film, then I'm allowed to say that Saitama's crappy apartment's a character too.
If you can't tell the real image apart from the illustrated one, just look for the giant frickin' bloodstain. That's the animated one. Many of the backgrounds in One Punch Man are ripped straight out of the Setagaya neighborhood in Tokyo. This practice isn't so uncommon in manga and anime. They save time and get a realistic look, but it's still cool that you could actually stomp around in Saitama's neighborhood.
Plus, it's impressive that the animators managed to so faithfully recreate a real place. All right, I guess we could talk about characters now instead of random background shots, I guess.
Number 3, pretty much everyone in Cowboy Bebop.
Spike Spiegel's gotta be right at the top of everyone's pile for coolest anime character.
But the Cowboy Bebop protagonist actually gets much of his signature flair from a Japanese actor you might have never heard of. Yasuka Matsuda, a guy who is so cool he can make lounging with a teacup look badass.
Matsuda is basically the Japanese James Dean, like the icon of the culture's cool.
He starred in several movies, but his biggest contribution to Spike Spiegel's image came from his tenure on a 1970s detective show called Tanai Monogatari. Though a contemporary cop show and not a sci-fi feature where everyone can somehow afford their own spaceship, the similarity and vibe between the show and Cowboy Bebop is indisputable. Matsuda passed away in 1989, but that doesn't mean he was out of fashion by the time that Cowboy Bebop came around.
The production team wasn't even shy about cribbing the looks of people who are still alive.
Take Asimov and Katarina, who serve as a direct homage to the characters Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek played in the Robert Rodriguez film Desperado.
They may be on opposite sides of the law, but the looks are spot on. Others are even more brazen.
Here's the bounty hunter Coffee from the drug-fueled Mushroom Samba episode. And here's Pam Grier in the title role of her film, Coffee. This guy dragging his coffee around is almost certainly a reference to the old western Django, the one from 50 years ago.
But the character's name was Shaft, you know, like Shaft.
Shut your mouth!
Oh, I'm just talking about Shaft.
Oh, well then, I can dig it.
This is a great reference, incredibly topical.
I mean, have you ever wanted to make a reference so dated that not even Animaniacs would have done it?
Because
that's what we're doing.
We're going for it.
Leave a comment below if you think we're better than this.
We're not. We're really not. Why are you putting up with us?
Well, back to my hole that I live in.
Okay, moving on.
Later in the series, a cranky mechanic named Doohan shows up. And as anyone who knows the Star Trek cast might guess, it's based on James Doohan, who played Scotty. But anime Doohan has more references folded up inside of him. Like here, where he draws a HUD on the interior of a spacecraft to calculate trajectory, a move pulled from the very real astronaut, Gordon Cooper, in 1963. But looks-wise, Doohan is a dead ringer for Nicholas Ray, the director behind Rebel Without a Cause.
The Teddy Bomber is a bit darker. He appears to be a direct reference to Ted Kaczynski, aka the Unabomber.
Though considering the era of the show, it shouldn't be ruled out that there's some of the Oklahoma City bombers, Terry Nichols and Timothy McVeigh, wrapped up in there too. Also, here's George Clooney! Everyone!
Ah, very nice. I love George Clooney. There he is, as a cartoon.
Number 4, Rock Lee and Bruce Lee, of course.
Do I need to say anything more?
Okay, number 4.5.
Okay, yeah, I should probably say slightly more. Both practice Jeet Kune Do, both have the same haircut and last name, but what really cinches the deal is they share the same birthday, November 27th. And now we can move on.
Number 5, a Steins Gate time traveler is based on a creepy internet hoax from 2000.
Steins Gate has a pretty wild plot twist which sends the character's future daughter, Suzuha Amane, time traveling back to the present day of the show.
She used the pseudonym John Titor on message boards, claiming to be a soldier from the year 2036.
But the thing is, there's a real, quote, real John Titor who captivated the internet in the early 2000s.
The real Titor's internet post detailed his time machine and shared an upsetting prophecy of a nuclear war in the year 2015. The amount of detail in the post was disturbing enough to sound convincing, but we're past 2015 now, and luckily we're only owned by Russia instead of getting blown up by them.
Also, the jokesters behind the real-life John Titor have been unmasked, and they are not cute anime girls, but that would be probably asking for too much.
Number 6, Millennium Actress is really 2 actresses.
If you haven't seen Satoshi Kon's Millennium Actress, wow, dude, you... get on that. Get on it.
It's a brilliant and moving tale about an actress, Chiyoko Fujiwara, who lives in seclusion after a storied movie career. Before his death, Kon described Fujiwara as based on Setsuko Hara and Hideko Takamine, 2 of the most well-known actresses in Japan's cinematic golden age.
Hara in particular seems to have inspired the plot,
as she was famously reclusive, having ended her career and lived away from the public eye for 50 years before passing away at age 95.
At least in a way, we've got one more movie out of her, so that's cool.
Number 7, pretty much everyone in Yuri on Ice.
Can you name a single individual in the world of Japanese male figure skating? Nah, I didn't think so. Unless you did, in which, wow, I'm impressed. Well, maybe that's what the team of Yuri on Ice was banking on.
Their star players are pretty much all taken from actual athletes, often smashing multiple skaters together to get the characters just right. The career of the hero, Yuri Katsuki, matches the trajectory of Tatsuki Machida, who also struggled with the failure and low self-esteem that comes with it. Appearance-wise, however, many have noted that Yuri strongly represents gold medal winner Yuzuru Hanyu.
Some of the more, enthusiastic fans even altered Hanyu's Wikipedia page on that end. But there is a second Yuri in Yuri on Ice, so strap on your jammy packs because this is where things start to get good.
Yulia Lipnitskaya is a world-class athlete and currently the record holder for youngest skater to win an Olympic gold medal. But since Yuri on Ice is a story about male figure skaters and their throbbing biological urges, Yulia was gender flipped to work as Yuri, similarly prodigious teenage skater from Russia. Beyond that, writer Mitsuru Kubo admitted that she wrote ice hunk Victor Nikiphora with actor John Cameron Mitchell in mind, inspired by his performance in Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Another one worth including just because it's so weird, Denis Ten.
The Olympic medalist skater from Kazakhstan is represented in Yuri on Ice as Orobek Elton. As Ten notes, both of them seem to have the same fondness for plush bears with the voice of Seth MacFarlane. Number 8, High School of the Dead and Hellsing.
It's more likely you would know Hellsing by name than you would know the name of its author, Hirano Kota.
But his nerdy-ass face was perfect for High School of the Dead's character Hirano Kota. The spelling is slightly different, but that dorky-ass face is undeniable.
All right, next.
Number 9, pretty much everyone in One Piece.
One Piece might be a goofy show about wacky pirates and their special powers, but the show really did its legwork in grounding all of its characters with weird real-life references. Sanji has long been one of the series' most popular characters, and many have speculated his creative origins.
A popular theory has been Leonardo DiCaprio, probably thanks to Sanji's terminal case of Titanic hair, but author Ichiro Oda has confirmed that the inspiration was in fact everyone's favorite bug-eyed weasel man, Steve Buscemi, specifically his turn as Mr. Pink in Reservoir Dogs. On a surface level, it's pretty easy to compare Emporio Ivankov to Tim Curry's Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. But on top of that, Ivankov was also inspired by Norio Imamura, a drag queen that Oda once ran into in person. Being an actor, Imamura was thrilled when he auditioned for and got the voice acting job for the character based on himself. Unfortunately, he had to step down after the police arrested him for posting indecent photos of himself online.
If only the police could figure out how to arrest the entire goddamn internet on the same charges. Then we live in a police state, but also the baddies would be in the internet. It's like you just can't win everything, can you?
Here's an easy one. Bogart was based on, drumroll please, Humphrey Bogart?
What? Okay, moving on. I'll give you 2 guesses as to who Mafia pirate Capone Beige was based on. Al Bundy? Wrong, dude. My childhood friend Daniel Capone? Also super wrong. It was Al Capone, you big goof. Why didn't you get that? You should have gotten that.
Much like Rock Lee and Bruce Lee, the brothers Capone share a birthday, January 17th. Wrestling fans were probably quick to recognize that Spandam's getup is clearly inspired by Mick Foley, aka Mankind. This was even brought to attention of Foley himself, who seemingly gave it its blessing after he learned that Spandam is more of a loving tribute than outright plagiarism.
And Anime dodged another bullet.
Hey, this guy's familiar. Why, if it isn't iconic actor and teacup model Yasuka Matsuda. Turns out he was also the basis for Kuzan, and shares Matsuda's hairstyle and his pouty, kissable lips. Like clockwork, Kuzan and Matsuda were both born on September 21st.
Do yourself a favor and Google anime birthday and whatever day you were born and see what comes up. Someone could be stealing your life.